Welcome to The Explainer. So today we're diving into one of the most famous and honestly most misunderstood places on the planet. We're going to look at the ultimate contrast between those wild, pop culture-driven sci-fi myths and the actual, verified, declassified military reality of Area 51. If you've ever wondered how a legitimate aerospace testing ground transformed into the world's epicenter for alien conspiracies, well, you're definitely in the right place.
Right off the bat, let's tackle the big question, the one that's fueled literally decades of speculation. What actually happens behind those heavily guarded fences? Now, located about 120 miles northwest of Las Vegas, out in a remote desert, this top-secret installation is pretty much synonymous with government cover-ups and extraterrestrial tech. But here's the thing, the real purpose of this facility is firmly rooted right here on Earth, even if it is still wrapped up in a super tight cloak of mystery.
And to really wrap your head around the scale of that mystery, just look at this number. 90,000. While the actual physical base of Area 51 is, relatively small, the restricted area around it, that covers a massive 90,000 acres. And they need every inch of it. It's partly to keep prying eyes far, far away, but mostly because they legitimately need that massive amount of empty airspace to safely test highly classified military aircraft. Okay, moving into Section 1, Origins of Alien Myths, Pop Culture, and Conspiracy. Let's see how this whole narrative got hijacked.
To really unpack this, we gotta start by clarifying a term that gets thrown around and misused all the time. UFO, unidentified flying object. Look, in the public imagination, the second someone says UFO, we all picture an alien spaceship, right? But by actual definition, it literally just means something in the sky that we can't identify. Science writer Benjamin Radford hits the nail on the head here. He points out that sure, strange lights and bizarre aircraft are absolutely spotted near the base, but they're almost certainly just brand new, highly classified human-made aircraft being tested out, not, visitors from another galaxy.
So where did the alien stuff actually start? Well, the real catalyst for the modern Area 51 mythos goes back to 1989. That's when a guy named Robert Lazar went on Las Vegas television and dropped some massive claims. He said he worked on extraterrestrial tech inside the base, that he'd seen actual autopsy photos of aliens, and that the US government was actively examining recovered spacecraft. Now, spoiler alert, investigators later revealed Lazar completely fabricated his employment at the nearby Nellis Air Force Base, along with his entire background. Almost nothing he said checked out. But man, the spark was lit, and the idea spread like wildfire.
And honestly, it's easy to see why those claims took hold so fast. Check out this quote from Benjamin Radford. The government won't reveal what's going on there, so it must be something ultra, super, amazingly secret. That right there, that's the core of the Area 51 mythology. It is the absolute perfect recipe for a conspiracy theory. You take a highly secure facility, wrap it in total, complete government silence, and boom, you create a vacuum. And human imagination just naturally rushes in to fill that void with aliens.
Oh, and pop culture? It took that idea and ran a marathon with it. Lazar's claims basically snowballed into massive entertainment touchstones. I mean, think back to 1996. The blockbuster Independence Day grosses over $817 million worldwide, making Area 51 the ultimate battleground against an alien invasion. Then you've got Doctor Who in 2011, where the Doctor gets held captive there. And obviously, The X-Files, a show literally built on this stuff, sent Mulder and Scully to the base in '98 to witness a mysterious craft. Pop culture completely cemented this alien connection into our collective consciousness.
All right, let's pivot to Section 2, Verified Military Testing, the Declassified Reality. Because the actual truth is totally grounded. But honestly, it's just as wild.
Just look at this contrast. It perfectly captures what we're talking about. On the left, we've got Lazar's debunked claims, the alien autopsies, the recovered flying saucers. But then, on the right side, we have the verified, declassified CIA reality. Area 51 has actually been the testing ground for some of the absolute most advanced aircraft in human history. We're talking the U-2 spy plane, the insanely fast SR-71 Blackbird, the A-12 Archangel, and the legendary F-170 Nighthawk stealth fighter. This is cutting-edge aerospace engineering, guys, not science fiction.
So let's track how this all played out over time. The base was actually set up way back in 1955, specifically for the Lockheed U-2 spy plane program. And it just operated quietly in the background for decades, until Lazar's TV interview in '89 completely blew it up in the media. Fast forward a bit, and it wasn't even until 2013 that the CIA formally declassified documents acknowledging the base actually existed. And all of that cultural buildup, it eventually peaked with the crazy viral Storm Area 51 event in 2019, which we'll get to in just a sec. But let's talk about that 2013 milestone for a moment. Through a Freedom of Information Act request, the National Security Archive finally got documents where the CIA officially admitted, yes, Area 51 is real and it was tied to the YouTube program. What's kind of funny, though, is that the name Area 51 is really just used by the media and conspiracy theorists. The government actually calls it the Nevada Test and Training Range, or more specifically, Groom Lake and Homey Airport. Back in the day, the aerospace company Lockheed even tried to lure workers out to this barren desert by ironically naming it Paradise Ranch. Gotta love that marketing.
Okay, Section 3, the need for secrecy, protecting national defense. Let's look at why it's so locked down. The security around this place is no joke, and obviously, it's for good reason. It's a military operating area with an incredibly strict no-fly zone for any civilian aircraft. The access roads? Totally restricted. They use radar, high-tech camera surveillance, and even buried motion sensors to catch anyone creeping around. The borders are marked with these orange poles, and the signs are crystal clear. Security patrols are fully authorized to use deadly force. But why? Because they are out there testing the absolute bleeding edge of aviation, drone technology, radar evasion systems, maybe even hypersonic flight programs. And honestly, the alien myths, they actually provided a really convenient smokescreen to keep all of us distracted from this highly sensitive national security research.
And a really key takeaway for this explainer is that Area 51 isn't even unique when it comes to this level of secrecy. It's literally just one of many classified installations all over the country. Look at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio. That one has its own lore about supposedly holding the Roswell wreckage. Then you've got the Dugway Proving Ground out in Utah, sometimes nicknamed Area 52, which handles biological and chemical testing. And don't forget the Tonopah Test Range, also in Nevada, used for rockets and low-altitude flights. These are all top-secret, heavily guarded places. Area 51 just happens to have the coolest PR and the strongest cultural mystique.
Which brings us perfectly to this absolutely staggering number, 3.5 million. That's how many people RSVP'd to a 2019 Facebook event called Storm Area 51, They Can't Stop All of Us. What started as just a random tongue-in-cheek joke by a 20-year-old college student rapidly mutated into this massive, viral movement to literally charge the military base and uncover alien secrets. It really goes to show just how deeply these pop culture myths have penetrated our society. But, as you might remember, the reality of that event was quite a bit less cinematic. Science writer Benjamin Radford jokingly called it a fire festival for the alien crowd. Instead of millions of people storming the gates, only about 6,000 people actually showed up to the tiny, remote town of Rachel, Nevada. They didn't overwhelm the deadly force security, and they certainly didn't find any alien tech. It basically just turned into a super low-key summer festival where people threw hatchets and drank limited edition alien-themed beer. The base's intense security infrastructure wasn't challenged in the slightest.
So as we wrap up this explainer, I really want to leave you with a thought. We all love a good alien conspiracy, right? It's fun, it's thrilling, it makes great movies, but when you actually look at the U-2 spy plane, the SR-71 Blackbird, and all the incredible stealth technology that was literally born in that Nevada desert, you have to ask yourself, is the verified reality of human aerospace innovation actually more fascinating than the science fiction myths? I'll let you be the judge of that. Thanks so much for joining me on this deep dive, and as always, keep asking those big questions.